All right, guys, welcome back into Vaspods. We are here today for episode 32. We have another very special guest today. We have Amber Pike, Miss Spokane, also Gonzaga alum. Hopefully, and we're going to speak this into existence now, Miss Washington and Miss
Oh,
America.
good.
Yes. We're going to speak it into existence. We have Amber Pike with us. Amber, how are you doing today?
Howdy, I'm so excited to be here. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I really appreciate you for coming on. I know your schedule is super busy right now, so I just really appreciate you for taking time out of your day.
Of
Um,
course.
we'll just get right into it. Kind of just give us an overview on who Amber is.
Of course. So I am actually originally from Alaska. I was born on Kodiak Island. I lived in Alaska for 18 years, and no joke, as soon as I graduated high school, my family and I we packed up and moved over to Washington. I am officially, as of Saturday, a Gonzaga alumni, which is so crazy to say out loud. I went to Gonzaga for 6 years. I got my undergraduate degree in business administration, and then on Saturday, I just got my master's in business administration. So it's a very full circle moment, especially now to be Miss Spokane with my master's degree. Miss Spokane, the scholarship organization, was actually where I got my start within Miss America exactly 5 years ago. So it was so cool to begin this journey as a freshman in undergrad and then 5 years later become Miss Spokane.
Most definitely. Okay, so we're gonna definitely get into that. Let's go back real quick. You kind of mentioned it, your family, childhood. Tell us about who you were growing up, about your family, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I was, as I like to say, the surprise of the family. I have three amazing older siblings, two sisters and one brother. We have a 20 plus year age gap, so I was definitely the surprise of my family. I have two loving parents, my mom and dad. They are both so incredible. So the reason why we were on Alaska, specifically Kodiak Island, for my first 5 years of life, my dad was Coast Guard for 23 years and then he retired, and he's been flying with Alaska Airlines now for basically forever now. So once he retired from the Coast Guard, here's Alaska right here. It might be a little backwards, but we went from Kodiak, took the boat all the way up to Anchorage, and we were in the Anchorage Eagle River area until high school. Alaska is such a beautiful state to grow up in. I remember going, it's so crazy. We have sunlight until almost 2 a.m. in the summer. So some of my favorite memories are hiking with my friends, grabbing a flavored Red Bull in almost the middle of the night. And it was just such a beautiful state to grow up in. I don't think I would ever live there again. I love Washington, so glad I'm here now. But I had an amazing childhood, and it was just really special to grow up in the last frontier.
Did the light ever mess with your sleeping or anything? I feel like that would be so challenging.
I think every Alaskan has to have a pair of blackout curtains. For me, it never did, but if you don't have those blackout curtains, oh my goodness, or vice versa, in the winter, we won't get sunrise until almost 9 a.m. So I remember driving to high school and it was what, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's still pitch black outside. So that is, I think, almost a culture shock for people when they come to Alaska, is we have super different light compared to everywhere else. So that was something that was so crazy when my family and I, when we moved over to Washington. We have a true 4 seasons here. We have normal daylight. It's great.
What is something that maybe we, like the outsider, would not know about Alaska?
So seeing a moose outside is like seeing a dog. It's so normal. It's no joke. It was a running joke in my high school. I went to a beautiful high school, Chugiak High School, built in the 60s. Loved it. Proud to be a Chugiak alumni. And I remember we'd be in our math class, which is more in the basement with these beautiful, huge windows. And it was a running joke. If you looked outside and you saw a big mama moose, everyone would go, okay, who brought their dog to school? It's so normal to see a moose outside that it's not even cool for us, as silly as that sounds.
That's way wild. I'm sure, as you know, there's a lot of deer in Washington or in Spokane. You'll see a lot of deer. Probably, I don't know if they're on the campus of if they make it over there to Gonzaga, but there's a lot of deer over there.
Yeah.
Um, Favorite memory growing up, childhood memory,
Oh my gosh,
and if
that's
you have a couple, you could feed us a
yeah.
couple as well.
Wow, favorite childhood memory. That's really, really tough. Oh my goodness. One that is really special. This might be a little bit more teen year memory, because childhood memory I think is so hard. But I know high school was definitely very pivotal, especially within my music career almost, was getting to go to Australia and have the honor of being concertmaster and soloist for the Sydney Opera House Performance Art Series. I had an incredible, still to this day, I consider her a life mentor, Nina Bingham. She was my violin instructor. And she was somebody who believed in me when I really needed somebody to believe in me. And I felt that I was like, oh, I don't think I'm even going to get into this program. And she's like, Amber, you're going to audition. We're going to get you there. It's going to be great. You need to believe in yourself. And not only did I get accepted to fly to Australia, and my parents came with me, it was such a life-changing opportunity, but I also had the honor to being concertmaster and soloist. And that was when I think I was 16 or 17 at the time. I was going into my senior year of high school, but that truthfully was such a life-changing opportunity. I met some of my best friends from all over the world, which was so cool. It wasn't people just coming from America, but from all over different countries, and it was just such an amazing opportunity.
That is really cool. Did you have any mentors growing up or anybody that you looked up to?
Oh yeah, definitely. So Miss Nina Bingham is definitely that first one. We have a saying at Gonzaga, which is "cura personalis," which means to care for the whole person. And talk about somebody who cared about me not only for how well I was doing within the classical music world, but also life. You name it, and I probably tried it growing up. I did everything, especially in high school, and whatever. That our first 20 minutes of violin lessons wasn't just how's practicing coming along, how's auditions. It was how's cheerleading going? How's your family doing? How's school going? She really cared about me as a whole person, and she's somebody I still look up to and admire. I hope to be just as amazing as her one day. I love you, Nina. She is so wonderful, and a mentor who's really special to me right now. And I got introduced because of pageantry is Pat Scott, and she's so similar to Miss Nina. She really cares about me as the whole person, always checking in on me, and she's somebody who gives me tough love when I need it. I'm very big about feedback and knowing how I can grow, and I know, okay, if somebody's telling me something that may be a little bit hard to hear, it's because they care about me, and it's because they want me to grow and succeed. So I'm so grateful for Pat's mentorship as well too.
That is super awesome. Okay, let's get into like the violin days, the
Yeah.
orchestra days. Okay, okay. Explain to everybody what chair were you? What was the highest chair that you were able to get to, and then also kind of how you started and why you continued.
So, concertmaster, which is first chair, first violin, that is the highest chair I have gotten to for Sydney Opera House Performance Arts Series. I had the honor of sitting first chair, first violin as concertmaster for that. In high school, I was also concertmaster my senior year. No idea why. It should have shout out to my really good friend Gabriel Goulet, who was 1,000 times better than me. It should have went to him. I think our really nice orchestra teacher probably did the seniority rules for me, which was very lovely. But concertmaster there. I believe I was also concertmaster when I did Philharmonic series. I've been in so many different orchestras. They all start to blend a little bit together. But I will tell you this: I've had experience being first chair, first violinist as concertmaster. I've also experienced being dead last before too, which is, I think it's very important to experience sitting in different seats in orchestra, and a little bit about how I got to playing violin. So I started on piano when I was a peanut, only 4 years old, loved it, and then middle school came along, and the only option they had for piano was keyboarding, like not even on a real piano, like a plug-in keyboard. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's not real piano. I'm sorry. So my parents were like, how about you learn a new instrument or join choir? And while I loved to sing, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity to try something new, shake it up a little bit. And I knew it was going to be violin or flute. I've always liked those instruments. And my eldest sister, Chastity, had a flute. My mama brought it down, and I tried to learn. I sounded like a hog in heat. It was so bad. I was like, nope, we're going to go with violin. So I started violin in sixth grade, and I really think the reason why I was able to pick it up a little quicker than maybe my other peers was because I already knew how to read music. So that was so helpful going into it, and it really just became my love. I love violin, even though I'm not doing it professionally and I get to do it more as a hobby now. It's something that's still so special to me.
Okay, let's get into Gonzaga days.
Mhm.
Freshman year, obviously you said that you are, well, we highlighted in the beginning that you are an alum of Gonzaga. What are some moments at Gonzaga that you think about? It could be school related, it could be personal related. What are just some things that when you look back in maybe like 5 years, you're just going to look back and be like, dang, that was a cool moment, or that was a cool memory?
Oh, I have so many, but I was actually reflecting on this in my family the other day. So I actually changed my major my freshman year, and you guessed it, I started out as a music education major. No joke, I want to become the next John Williams. I was like, I want to be a famous conductor, composer. I want to still play violin. It's going to be great. I did that path for one semester, and while I was very successful, it was almost boring to me, as sad as that is. I didn't feel any fulfillment from it because that's all I did in high school. I was in orchestra in the day, and then after on Monday nights, I went to symphony, and then I did solo and ensemble, then I went to summer camp for violin. Violin is all I did in high school. So going into college, that seemed like the path to take, like continue doing that. I'm pretty good at it. I enjoy it, and I just stopped enjoying it, and I knew, okay, I think this is a sign that's time for me to shake things up. And in the back of my head, I knew I always enjoyed business, and I just wasn't quite sure where I wanted to take it. So I'm very grateful for the mentors I had. One of them was Paul McDonough, which was actually my physics teacher, believe it or not, which sounds so random, but him and I were talking right before I packed up and went to college about how it's okay to change your mind in college and how that's very normal. So him and I now have the running joke, we are both fellow music school dropouts. So he was the same as me, played saxophone, and the same thing, that's what he thought he wanted to do because it's all he did in high school. And he became an amazing physics teacher, and he's now working for the Anchorage School District. So he was a really great mentor, and still is to this day, about it's okay to change your mind. And that was definitely one of the most pivotal points, which happened very early on at Gonzaga, was changing my major. It was a very hard decision. I lost my music scholarship because I changed majors, but it opened up the door to so many new opportunities, and now I have a love for marketing, and that's been such an amazing creative outlet. And especially as Miss Spokane, part of the job as a title holder is to have effective social media marketing. So it's been so cool to bring my academic expertise into this role, and I'm really grateful I made that risk and changed my major.
Most definitely. We were definitely going to have to sit down and talk about the marketing aspect because I suck
Yeah.
at marketing. Okay. What are some things that maybe people don't know about Gonzaga?
Ooh. So I know you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier too. It is a Catholic Jesuit university, and I'm Christian. I'm not Catholic, and I think one of the misconceptions about Gonzaga is like you have to be Catholic. It's very over religious. Not at all. Gonzaga is a very loving, welcoming school, no matter what your faith is, no matter where you come from. And I have friends of all different faiths, and it's just been such a wonderful opportunity at Gonzaga. I will tell you this: Gonzaga really trains almost their students to be very open-minded and welcoming of everybody. I know one of my most impactful classes was actually one of our core classes. It was ethics, and my biggest takeaway from that is if you ever hear somebody who might think differently than you, it's to remember their morals and values come from their lived experiences. And as silly as that sounds, that really, the light bulb came on, it did for me. Because I'm sure we've met somebody where they feel like they're saying nonsense. You're like, wow, how can a person think that way? And it's like, I remember, they come from different experiences. So that was something really neat about Gonzaga too. We do have a core curriculum. So no matter what your major is, whether music education, business, you do have to take these core classes. And I'm so grateful that Gonzaga has all their students take classes such as ethics.
You kind of just touched on it. I want to get into this though. What were some of your favorite courses? There maybe are non-business courses or maybe even non-music courses. What were some courses that you really enjoyed taking?
So ethics was definitely one of them. That one was amazing. I think it might be hard for me to choose a non-business class because I will be honest with you, I did not enjoy having to take a science class, which was one of those non-related. But the cool thing was because I changed my major, all those music classes that I took ended up qualifying as electives for my business major. So I really lucked out, and after I changed my major, there was barely any classes that were non-business classes that I had to take. We'll tell you this though, something about the business curriculum. So marketing's my thing. I concentrated in marketing and human resources management in undergrad, but they want you to be very well-rounded. So you had to take classes that were not HR and marketing. So I had to take accounting 1 and 2. I had to take finance. And while I'm not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed for those specific courses, I'm still so glad that Gonzaga exposed me to those, because now at least I have a basic understanding and grasp of that, especially because I think one day I might want to be a business owner. So now I have a really holistic approach of business.
You kind of, and you just touched on it again. What are you looking to do with your degree? What are some, what like inspires you? What do you look at?
It's so crazy. So I see two different paths for me, or almost these paths coming together. So this is really my year off almost in my academic timeline. I went immediately into my master's after undergrad, which I'm so glad I did that. But this year for me is going to be the year where I would like to get my PhD. I'd like to become Dr. Pike, which is so crazy. Whoop whoop. Yes, I get the nerdy fancy hat. So fun. But that for me, because I'm looking to get a PhD in marketing, that's a 5-year commitment, which is a
Hmm.
long time for school. So this year is really for me to find out where I want to spend those next 5 years of my career. And I love teaching. I love mentorship, and I think that's why Miss America is so fulfilling to me, because not only do we have the Miss program, but we also have the teen program. And it's been so impactful to meet so many incredible teens ranging from 13 to 17 years old at very different points in their high school and middle school. And some of these young women are so amazing, and being able to mentor them. And I found so much joy and fulfillment because of that. So that is something I would love to teach. I don't know if I want to return necessarily back to Gonzaga. I think that would be amazing, but I would love to be Professor Pike. And on the side, I do also have that heart for mentorship. I don't know, I'd love to coach and help other young women within pageantry as well. I love interview, I love talent prep, and I think that would almost be a really great side hustle that I can do.
Get into your Miss Spokane time. Kind of tell us how you got started, how it all began. Did you start when you were a kid? Like when you got to Gonzaga? How did that all go?
So it's so crazy. My pageantry timeline, I think, looks really different than other young women my age. So, unlike a lot of my peers, I didn't start out in pageantry as a peanut. I did not go down that route. I was involved with almost everything, but I did not get started within the Miss America opportunity until I was 19 or 20 years old. So, I always like to say I was a little late to the game, but I knew growing up it was always something I wanted to try. I think I was just so busy with all my other extracurriculars that it just didn't realistically fall in my timeline when I was in Alaska. But I knew as soon as I went to Gonzaga, I said, I'm going to find a local competition near me. And that was Miss Spokane. And like I said, it was so full circle to now be Miss Spokane 5 years later, starting out in the Miss America opportunity right in Spokane as an undergrad, as a freshman at Gonzaga. So that's really how I got my start.
Who sparked your confidence to get into the pageantry?
So I knew I always wanted to do it for a long time, but I will tell you, once I started to dip my toes in, it was right after my first year at Miss Washington. It's actually our Forever Miss Washington 2022, Regan Gallo, and she's here right now in Spokane, which is so amazing. She moved here recently, and she won Miss Washington that year, and she was one of my really close friends throughout the whole process. And let me tell you, I didn't know what the heck I was doing my first year at Miss Washington. I was there genuinely just to have a great time, and I did. It was so much fun. I didn't place because I didn't need to be Miss Washington that year. I just was there to learn and to have fun. And of course, I did my best at the time when I was a little baby. And after she won, Regan came up to me and she said, I think you could be Miss Washington one day. She's like, you have really great speaking abilities. I think it was after I did my onstage question, and she was a little bit after me, and she heard me, and she's like, you speak so well, Amber. And she encouraged me to compete for her title she just gave up when she won Miss Washington, which was Miss Pierce County. Because of my eligibility, because my folks live on the west side, I can also compete there. So it was because of Regan that I ended up winning Miss Pierce County that following year, placing first runner-up at Miss Washington. It was having somebody, especially a Miss Washington, say, hey, you have what it takes. I believe in you. Let me get you the people who are going to really help you take it from zero to hero. So I'm so glad it was such an amazing opportunity to be Miss Pierce County. Pat Scott is on the Pierce County board, who's one of my incredible mentors, still to this day.
Okay, so for people that don't know, can you just give us what a day in the life, like you are going to a pageant that day? What does it look like?
Oh, okay. So like I'm competing in one.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so typically, I will tell you this, it depends on where you are, but we'll go with Spokane. So you usually do your 10-minute private interview the day before. So this interview is with the judges panel. It's not open to the public. It's just you in a room with the judges and the directors usually sitting in, just, for safety and everything like that. And they can ask you anything and everything. Interview is my favorite phase of competition. If you couldn't tell, I love to yap. I love to talk. It's lots of fun. I had the honor of winning top interview on Miss Spokane this year. It was a lot of fun, that interview. And like I said, you have 10 minutes, just you and the judges. They can ask you anything they want. And then the next day is when you have the onstage competition, which is open to the public. So my family and friends were there. It was a great time. And you do onstage question, which is a continuation of your interview. Usually the question is about your community service initiative. So my community service initiative is asthma awareness, strong lungs, strong life. So I was asked about how I would market my community service initiative as Miss Spokane. And then the next phase of the competition is fitness. We have partnered with Rebel Athletic, where we get to model some super cool athletic gear, get to pose, maybe not like that, but that's a lot of fun. And then we go into talent. So I, of course, play my electric violin this year. I played Summer from the Four Seasons by Vivaldi. I'm a classical music fan at heart, but it was really cool to play it on my electric violin because it had a little bit of an edgy twist to it. And then finally you have evening gown, which is really just an opportunity for you to showcase something that is you, your personality. I love evening gown because it never is about the gown itself or how much it costs. I'm here to tell you, usually the gowns that look so stunning are the more simple ones. We actually just had Miss America 2002 at our spring forum, and she won Miss America in a gown from JCPenney that I think was $80. And I'm like, that just really speaks volumes. So
That's way awesome.
yeah, well, she's amazing, and it's because it looked like $1,000,000 on her. So I love evening gown. I really do love all the phases of competition for very different reasons. But evening gown is always a really great way just to end the show because you really just get to have a moment on stage. I know I always look forward to evening gown because it's kind of the, okay, we can breathe and just walk on stage. It's going to be great. So it was so crazy at Miss Spokane this year. The gown I wore was actually my planned backup gown. It was not my planned gown. I was packing for Miss Spokane the night before, and I had my planned gown, which is the one I wore at Miss Washington, which I absolutely love. I tried it on, was like, okay, looks great. Showed my parents, they're like, looks great. And then I was like, let me try on my backup gown just because you never know what could happen. A zipper could break, something could happen. And I came out in my backup gown that I have never worn yet, and my parents were like, oh my gosh, can you wear that one? I'm like, sure, why not? Sounds great. So I think for Miss Spokane this year, I was a little nervous for evening gown. I think for the first time because my backup one has this cool, almost like side cape, and walking in that one is very different than my planned one, but it all worked out. I love that gown. I'm so glad my parents convinced me to wear that one because I haven't had the opportunity to wear that one, but Miss Spokane was just such a wonderful experience.
That is super awesome. Okay, kind of give us a explanation on your causes and what causes you are going for this year, and then also, do you have to do you have to pick causes? Do they pick you? How does that all go?
Oh, so for causes, are we talking a little bit almost like our platform or community service initiative?
Yes.
Yeah, so we get to pick it, which is so cool because I have seen young women talk about anything, and I mean anything, which is really neat to see. You basically pick something that's really, whether it's, so mine's personal. I've been an asthmatic since I was a peanut, 4 years old, and that's why I picked mine. I believe that chronic diseases are not talked about as much as they should, specifically with asthma, especially within our elementary schools, because 1 in 12 children are impacted by asthma. So that's a little bit about why I chose mine. And this year has been so fulfilling because I recently partnered with the Allergy and Asthma Network to lobby on Capitol Hill. So that is a continued partnership that I am so excited to continue. And a little bit about how I established that partnership was I applied to receive their travel scholarship to fly to DC. Going to DC is very expensive. I did not realize it until I was looking into it, and I was just so blessed and so grateful to receive that scholarship from them because I was able to travel to Capitol Hill and partner with them. And their CEO is just so wonderful. Everybody there is so amazing. And we are excited to continue this partnership because we see these conversations a lot, whether it's in the professional space on LinkedIn, but not enough with our youth, and especially with my generation. So they were so incredible, and they were so excited that I was there, because I was probably one of the youngest advocates joining them at Capitol Hill. And so they really want to reach more younger people. So especially with my love for marketing, we're really excited to continue that partnership. While I can't be in DC all the time, we can always collaborate together on social media.
Most definitely. Okay, so you're like when you go to Olympia or when you're in DC, how does that all look? Like what do you do? Like are you meeting with like politicians? Like do you like talk with individuals? Like how does that all go?
Yes, so you're given a schedule by a consulting group. So we partnered with Soapbox this year, and they were so incredible. And I got to meet members of Congress, or if they were unavailable, for example, Senator Murray, she's very, very, very busy. I got to meet with one of her advisors, one of her helpers in the office. So even if you can't meet with your senators and representatives directly, our congressmen are really incredible at least making sure that somebody in the office can meet with you. And it was such a fulfilling experience. I got to lobby for 5 different bills on behalf of the Allergy and Asthma Network, and the one that was really stuck out to me was one school, one nurse. And I had no idea until I even went to Capitol Hill, and we were going all over all the bills we were going to be advocating for and asking Congress to support, was that not all elementary and secondary schools have a nurse, which blows my mind, because that is so important, especially for children with asthma, to make sure that there is a full-time nurse there, because children are not allowed to administer their own medication, which makes sense. You probably shouldn't have little Johnny, who has, an inhaler at 5 years old, doing that himself. So that blew my mind that we have schools in America that don't have a full-time nurse, which is so heartbreaking. So that bill was so important, because I don't know what I would have done without my school nurse in elementary school, because with my asthma, I have to take my inhaler prior to gym class, prior to, running around, working out. And so that was a visit to Nurse Cottle's office before gym class almost every single day. So it was just very impactful and an incredible experience to partner with the Allergy and Asthma Network and lobby on Capitol Hill.
What do you want your legacy to be?
Oh my God, that's so hard. Wow. I hope I get to leave an impactful legacy. Something about me, I really hope that no matter whether I'm wearing a crown, a baseball cap, whatever, I really hope that people remember me as a warm, welcoming person. That is something I really strive to be, no matter where I am, no matter if I'm Miss Spokane or I'm simply Amber with a Diet Coke. That's something I really hope to leave that legacy of, just warm and welcoming. I hope to leave an impactful legacy through mentorship. I know we were talking about earlier, mentorship is so important to me. And that was something that I did not realize how fulfilling that could be from the Miss America opportunity. I have my teens, I call them. I probably have, no joke, probably have a good amount, 50 of them who I talk to frequently. And it's so amazing to see them grow within this organization, or even teens who are now competing with me as a young miss. One of my really good friends, Helena, and she is somebody I continue to mentor, and it's been so incredible to watch her grow. And that's really the legacy I hope to leave.
Sweet. Okay, I got a couple more questions for you real quick. I kind of want to get into maybe a couple more like personal questions. As with like social media and everything, and as you are doing what you're doing, how do you handle criticism or pressure or any of that?
Yeah, so I've always been very open to constructive criticism, especially when it comes from people who love me. I will be very honest, it's very rare if I get, I guess, like a hate comment or a hate DM, but it happens every now and then. And I think the reason why people choose to maybe leave those type of comments is because of a lack of understanding of whether it's the Miss America opportunity or who I am, why I'm doing this. And I always try to lead those conversations with empathy and kindness instead of, I don't think you should fight fire with fire. You know what I mean? I've always believed that. And to really approach it with curiosity. If somebody is saying something nasty, that's always the life I really want to continue to have, and how I want my voice to come across. And like I said, I've been very blessed as Miss Spokane. I really have not received a lot of hate, but I will tell you this. I was quite heavier when I first started competing within the Miss America opportunity, and I was working for a dress store at the time. And while it wasn't directly through my Miss America channels, I would model for the dress store. And oh, yeah, people would leave nasty comments all the time on how I looked. You know, you have me, and then you have, a beautiful tiny blonde compared to me. And I know that got hard at times, but I think it almost just motivated me to continue to be my kind self and to really ignore that. Yeah.
What is okay? Give me maybe like an experience or two in your life that helped shape you into the person that you are today.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Experience or two in my life. I know, so I will tell you, Sydney Opera House was definitely one of them. Within the pageant circuit, I would actually say it was my second year at Miss Washington. I was Miss Pierce County at the time, and I know we were talking about it a little earlier. That first year at Miss Washington didn't place, didn't matter to me. I was just happy to be there. But my second year at Miss Washington was so different because I had an incredible board. I had an incredible support group who really poured into me and really believed in me and helped me understand what it really takes to become Miss Washington, to become Miss America. So of course, everyone wants to win Miss Washington who's there. And while I knew I wanted to do the best I could, winning wasn't my only goal there. And when my name got called in the top 5, I almost couldn't believe it because I was like, last year I didn't even place. I didn't even make top 10, and now I'm in the top 5. Oh my goodness. And I ended up getting first runner up that year, overall top interview, and overall top talent for my group. And as silly as it was, getting first runner up that year, going from not placing to doing so well just within a span of 1 year, really taught myself that this outcome that I would like eventually to become Miss Washington, it is possible. It's going to take a lot of hard work and time and effort, but this goal, it's not impossible to reach.
We can't forget Miss America as well.
Yeah.
We gotta throw
I
up
love
our
that manifesting. Yes.
yes. No, that's what we're gonna do. Okay,
Yeah.
so Amber has an off day.
Oh,
What is a behind the scenes look at kind of what goes into your day?
I don't get an off day a lot, but when I do, I've been loving to walk the Centennial Trail. That's what I did this morning. I get my 4 miles in just walking around, especially when it's really nice outside. You'll definitely see a Diet Coke in my hand. I cannot live without these. I think everybody knows I always keep one in my cron box, always sipping on a Diet Coke.
Is that Amber's Diet Coke?
It is Amber's Diet Coke. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everywhere with me, I always have one. And I should have brought over my crown box to show you, but I always keep one in my crown box as well when I travel as Miss Spokane. But oh, my friend Hannah and I, we love trivia night. Logan Tavern does a really fun trivia night. There's also one at, I think it's, oh no. I'm so sorry. Can you still hear me? My computer just went crazy.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. It like just exited me out. It's because I was getting a phone call. I'm like, who's calling me? Apologize. Trivia is always a fun time. Love getting frillo with my friends. I basically live at Arctos, the little coffee shop that's really close on campus. My off days, I usually am doing some work still to prepare for Miss Washington, whether that's adding to my business plan or going over some interview preparation for that. So that to me even is an off day. I'm always doing something for Miss America prep, Miss Washington prep, and whether that's just getting a cup of coffee at Arctos. I'm also a big TJ Maxx girl, so I like walking around TJ Maxx, probably with a Diet Coke in my hand. But that's usually what I'm doing. And oh, and I'm also taking a nap. I'm a huge napper. My gals know at Miss Washington, it's when we do a field trip and we all get to board the bus. I love talking to everybody, but I will absolutely be taking a nap when I'm on the
Oh
bus.
man.
Everyone knows, not me trying to be rude, and I usually try to find a buddy who's just like me who also naps, and so we'll sit next to each other and we'll just nap. It's great. It's great because you get so tired and so worn out at Miss Washington that when you have an opportunity just to close your eyes for 5-10 minutes, I will take that opportunity. So I always enjoy a good nap too on an off day as well.
A nap is like probably I think as an adult is probably better than anything that is out there. Like any
Right?
sort of like physical, mental pleasure, anything, a nap is will outbeat all of those things.
Yes.
Um, okay. How would your friends describe you?
Ooh. Okay. Bold. But classy. I think I'm known to dress a little bit like a mom in the friend group. I got wished a happy Mother's Day when I was with my family the other day because it was somebody who was so and he was hilarious. Came back, he's like, "I'm so sorry." He's like, "I just realized you're probably younger than me." He's like, "You just look so mature because I'm wearing like a blouse and nice jeans." I'm like, "Oh, you're fine. You're all good." Very bubbly. I'm very ambitious. Anything I do, I always give my 110%, whether it's Miss Spokane or my graduate degree, and I think friendly as well. No matter where I am, no matter who, I really grateful. I think God gave me a gift, which is I can talk to anybody from any background, of any age, at any time. I love people. I just love connecting with people, and that's something I really love about Spokane too, is we really are a melting pot here, and it's so incredible whether I'm on a walk on the Centennial Trail, getting a cup of coffee, doesn't matter where I am. Everyone is just so lovely. And I think that's really how my friends would describe me.
What are some of Amber's hidden talents?
Oh, hidden talents. That's so hidden talents. Ooh. Oh my gosh. I'm really good at Zumba. I love busting.
Really?
Oh yeah, I love Zumba, especially as an asthmatic too.
Most
So
definitely.
yeah, so like I definitely still got to get my cardio in somehow. So running on the treadmill definitely is not going to work the best for my asthma, but I love Zumba. I recently started doing bar, which is so much fun. I'll tell you this, the first class it kicked my butt. It was so hard, but it was a really great time. Oh, I can make a mean cup of coffee. I used to be a broista at Dutch Bros, which was such a fun job. Oh my gosh, in my undergraduate time, I had an amazing time doing that. I'm also really good at OG Mario Kart, not on the Switch. It has to be like the
The
OG.
Wii?
I do have one. It's yes, I do have one. Really great at Mario Kart. I will give you major bonus points if you can guess who my character is on Mario Kart 2.
Are you going Mario?
No, I'll give you a hint. It's like think like this sounds horrible, but I was. I feel like I was a really weird kid. I was awkward in like middle school growing up. So think of like what character would like an awkward kid pick.
I don't know. That's tough. Are you going Bowser? Is it Bowser?
No, Bowser's cool though. Yeah, no.
It's been ages since I played
It's
Mario. I'm
okay.
trying to think of their names now.
Okay, it's okay. I'll tell you. You ready?
It's not Luigi, right?
Not Luigi. No.
Okay.
I'm always Toad, which I feel like
Oh,
yeah, big Toad gal. I still play as Toad to this day.
okay. I play as Mario, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty basic, I guess. But
Okay, keep him with the
I,
classics. Yeah.
I would put belt to behind on most people though. So I mean, like
Mhm.
Mario Kart, that is a talent for sure.
Yeah.
I got a couple more for you. What is, I know we kind of touched on this a little bit more, but like other than like pageantry, what is something that you've learned about yourself like through high school, Gonzaga, and through your being able to graduate from Gonzaga? What is something that you've learned about yourself?
Hmm. I really like trying new things, and I think that's honestly one of my not like biggest regrets, but in undergrad, I really wish I would have taken more risks and tried whether it's a different extracurricular, try new things because that is something I've really tried to do within my graduate time at Gonzaga as a graduate student was really to not be afraid, whether it's to try a new class, try a new experience with a friend. And it's always ends up being such an amazing time. I know my mom and I, or being okay doing things alone too. You'll probably make fun of me for this. For the longest time, I was always scared to eat at a restaurant alone. And I think it's because I'm a very social person. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy my alone time, but being in public by myself was something that was always a little bit nerve wracking to me. And so DC went by myself. And I know I was a little bit nervous to make that trip all by myself, but my mom always leads with this too. She's always like, Amber, it's like you're always going to be nervous, but once you get there, you're going to have a great time. It's so funny. No matter when I'm doing an appearance as Miss Spokane, I'm taking a test. My mom always reminds me that, and she's so right. So I think that's something I've really learned about myself too. Is I actually really enjoy taking risks and trying new things. I just have to be comfortable with that initial uncomfortability, if that makes sense.
What? Okay, two more. What or who keeps you grounded?
My parents, by far, they are both so incredible, and I am so grateful for both of them because they've lived and come from such different experiences in life. My dad is very, very book smart, so he's somebody who has kept me really, really grounded within my academic career. And then my mama, though, my mama's MacGyver. She's very street smart. Let me tell you, if I ever need anything that is outside of school, my mom has really kept me grounded, and she's been such a wonderful support system, especially going back to that conversation of trying new things. She was all for it. She's like, "You're going to DC by yourself. It's going to be great. You're going to be independent. It's going to be a wonderful time."
That is super awesome. I think you have to be okay with being by yourself before you can be
Yeah.
with others, I think, personally.
Amen. Yes.
Okay, last one here. And I think it's maybe one of the most important ones. How do you define success?
Mm. Wow. I think for me, success has always been doing something that I enjoy. As silly as that sound, I don't think it's a result of a high test score or even winning Miss Spokane. It's doing, whether it's my school, extracurriculars, or just in life and balancing friendships. It's success to me is just enjoying life and enjoying the path that I have paved. And I know we were talking about a little bit those pivotal moments. I don't think I would have been happy or been even successful, quote unquote, if I would have not changed my career, if I would have not chose to compete for Miss Spokane, if that makes sense. So I am very happy, and I know this year, especially with my academic timeline, is going to be a little bit of a time of uncertainty, especially because I need to pick where I'm going for my PhD for the next 5 years. But I know that I will make the right choice, and I know it might make time to take the right choice. But to me, that's really what success means to me, is just really continuing to enjoy to do the things that I love.
Sweet. I really appreciate you. I think that's probably like it's one of like the reasons why I started this podcast was
Yeah.
probably that question alone. And then we obviously getting to know everybody. It's always super amazing. But
Yeah.
I really appreciate you though. We have Amber Pike with us today for episode 32. Amber, I
Hey.
really appreciate. Yes. Okay. Now that we have this established, I'm
Yeah.
ready to see it. I'm ready to see it with the Chick-fil-A theme song.
Oh, combination of that. Okay. I think it might be too late to change my talent for the Miss Washington stage to the Chick-fil-A song, but I will promise you this, that if I can do it, because whoever our next Miss Washington may be gets spoiled with a giant bouquet of flowers in the trophy. If knock on wood, if that happens this year, I will try to do this right after the crown is placed on my head, just for you. It'll be great. It'll be great.
I
See it on the
I
live stream. Our amazing photographer Keith will be like, "Keith, make sure you get this on the picture," and I know he will.
Keith, you heard
Keith
Amber.
is
Make
the
sure
best. We
make it happen, my guy.
Keith and
Like
Carol are the best. Oh my gosh, they're not only our incredible photographers. I have to brag about them really quick. I apologize before we hop off, but they're also our scholarship donors as well, and they have been for the last year. And Miss Washington gets a $12,500 scholarship, so they are both just so incredible. They're amazing.
wait, so do they get a scholarship as well?
No, they gift the scholarship
Oh, I was about to say
for years.
I thought they were like your peers that were taking.
No, they're both so lovely, and they've been our scholarship donors now for forever now. Ever since I began, they have been not only our incredible photographer at Miss Washington and other related events, but also the scholarship donors. So we love the Krugers; they are amazing. So, and I know, like I said, if it happens this year, Keith will definitely get a picture of me doing this. It'll be great.
Yes, when it happens this year, we are definitely getting it. We are definitely getting it done. Amber, I really appreciate you though. Thank you for taking time out of your day.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.